In early childhood, there's so much brain development happening from 0 to 5, and the brain plasticity is just, it's ripe for growth. So if we can get in there when a child is young and intervene in terms of developing language and behavior and social skills and ability to interact, that's the golden time to really do the work that will have long-term outcomes. Preschoolers, they're so young, so you need assessors who know that age range, and who know 2, 3, and 4-year-old development. And they don't necessarily teach that in graduate school, so you need assessors who have been around 2, 3, 4-year-olds and been in preschools, worked with little kids, who are willing to get down on the floor, who are willing to meet the child where they're at, who are willing to be so flexible in assessment, because 80% of the time they're not going to want to sit at a table.
When Jameson was almost 3 years old, we were talking to our physician that we had concerns about his speech. It wasn't really coming in, and he was also really challenging and would throw tantrums all the time. I think at that point, we as the parents felt really desperate. We just knew that something wasn't fully okay with our child and didn't know where to turn. So we talked to Carrie on the phone, and she asked us a bunch of questions. Within our first conversation, I felt so grateful that somebody was actually, a physical person was actually talking to me and asking what was going on.
And how long do those tantrums usually last?
From the first moment I get a parent calling with concerns, I say, tell me about your child. And then I ask more questions, because I want to make sure I'm looking at all the areas of concern. From that initial phone call with the family, the assessment process that we go through, we involve the parent so that they already feel like we're partners.
Having a student with specific needs that need to be addressed early on can be really scary for parents. And our goal is to reassure families that we are here to partner with them and to support their children. And they don't need to worry about whether we're trustworthy or not, because we're going to be with them every step of the way.
It was probably one of the most powerful moments as a parent up to that point, knowing that there was somebody that was actually really going to help my child. And when you're a parent who just is desperate really for answers, that meant everything. It meant everything to us.
A comprehensive assessment report opens doors. It opens doors to IEP services. It opens doors sometimes to outside services. It can open doors to a medical diagnosis, which is huge.
A multidisciplinary assessment allows for a much more comprehensive picture of each student.
We have a shared Google Doc, and we just, we're all working in the doc together. We're all able to look at each other's findings in real time and being able to compare the different findings.
When we put those pieces together in our summary and recommendations, we might have come away with greater insight into how a child might present in different settings. So it's one big picture about one student.
I always look for the strengths in children. When we're looking for eligibility, we're trying to prove weakness, but the strengths are what we care about right when we get the kid. That's what we're building on, and that's what you have to focus on with kids, is how do we increase the strengths? How do we use that child's strengths? And every kid has them. Jameson's a great example of early intervention being successful. He was a child who came to us at 3. He wasn't talking. He was having a lot of behavior challenges. He wasn't socializing, and we caught him early. He started to make a lot of good progress with all the interventions, and he continued on through our program and into kindergarten and has just thrived with the supports and is doing really beautifully in first grade.
We are friends with other families that are also part of this program. We know that the investment that this town and Piedmont has given to the early intervention program has changed their child's trajectory.
If a student shows up as a 5-year-old in a classroom and they have social issues, they have emotional issues, they have whatever else, it's very difficult for them to have their needs met. So if we begin at that age of 3, if we provide those interventions and supports and resources at age 3 and 4, it gives them a much better opportunity to succeed good, qualified, quality assessment team is just so critical. It's just so critical that we invest in this early intervention, early assessment, because it's an investment in their future and it's an investment in our future. It allows those students to grow during those first couple of years so they can be successful in ways that they may not have been successful if this process hadn't occurred.
I've been working in early intervention for a long time, so I have the benefit of seeing children who came in at 2 in their regional center transition meeting who weren't talking or making any eye contact or responding to their name, who have gone on to jobs, maintaining relationships. So I've seen the benefits of what early intervention does. I love what I do. I mean, it's life-changing. There's nothing better than seeing a child coming in, not talking and not looking at anyone, and then leaving, playing with other children, talking to us, greeting us when they come in.
This was completely critical for our child and changed the trajectory of where he is today.